Alright, in this video we're going to go through printing Moto sheets. This is going to stay in detail on just printing. If you need to know more about this Moto board, there's a previous video for that, but in this video we're going to go through all the different ways you can print Moto sheets and exactly what that is going out the door. So we'll start here on the Moto board, and you'll notice the scoring and the scoring grid box, which gives visual effect of every moto you have for that day. But you'll notice the print moto sheets. Up there in the corner, that's where you want to roll to. You need to make sure there's a printer selected. In my preferences, I do not have a default printer set up, which you need to do that, and I've got preference videos on how to do that. But you just go ahead and set up your preferred printer. If you don't want to click that drop down every time, go into the preferences and change it. Then at that point, you've got motos. If you had semis, quarters, and obviously everybody's got mains, those would be in this drop down here. So depending on what type of sheets you're looking to get, that's in there. Print all moto sheets is fairly common, and then at that point, you're going to print what you need to print. Multiple classes per page or single class per page. The advantages of single class per page is you don't have any confusion on gate assignments for mains for your workers. And as far as motos on the moto board, you don't have any confusion on any riders that end up in a 9-rider class not noticing it's a 9-rider class. It kind of just helps with that. So if you want to print singles, that's best. It's very simple. It always takes a little more room on the moto board, but if your races are got enough size where they're not overwhelming for your moto board, it would be good to just go ahead and print single sheets per page. It's something they'll get familiar with when they go to nationals. And then obviously your announcing and your scoring sheets, you're welcome to print multiple classes per page if you need to save paper, but again, your volunteers will appreciate the lane assignments being down there. And then it really saves you too if you're not at a race where you need to print the main sheets because you don't have any semis or any further qualifying rounds. You've already gotten lane assignments down at the bottom of the sheet. You can print these as a package, as in package meaning that you probably need 3 sets of posting, 1 announcing, and 1 scoring, because you've got 1 going to the moto board and maybe 1 or 2 sets going up to the stagers. So your posting sets are your staging sheets. Your announcing is obviously your announcer, and scoring is scoring. So those are pretty self-explanatory. The cool thing about getting in here and doing this is if maybe a sheet falls off the wall, if you need an extra copy of just a couple sheets or whatever it is you need, you can go in here and select moto numbers and only print those certain motos, or you can select the age class, or if you'd like to print motos 3 through 10, click the first moto you'd like and then hold the shift key and click the last moto you'd like. And if you notice, the color variation on my screen isn't the greatest, but hopefully in the video there you can see that I've got motos 3 through 9 highlighted. So that'll give you a way to just print those motos. That is really the printing moto sheets through a package in the scoring grid. This is the most direct way to get it to your printer. There's no preview of the sheet. It just instantly sends it to the printer, saves a little computer resources. If you're having any trouble printing or moto sheets aren't coming out like they should, or they're not matching the scoring grid, definitely jump into the scoring grid and print from here, because it takes a little less computer resources, which we'll talk about that right now as we jump out of scoring and go to the reports menu, which is the other way to get moto sheets. So when you go to the reports menu, you'll see moto sheets in there, and then at that point it brings you to a very similar box asking what type of sheets you would like to get, and again, whether you'd like them all or whether only certain classes or motos. The option here, you've got an extra additional option which you can utilize after racing if you'd like to print a set to give to anyone with scores, or you want some scores for your filing cabinet there in the office, so you don't always have to turn on the computer to look something up. You can do that too. Multiple classes per page, same option there. Print repost only, we'll get into what that button does when we have a little quick how-to on the Moto adjuster, so check out the Moto adjuster video if you would like to know more about the print repost only button. But for the most part, if you're not using a Moto adjuster, there's really no way that this isn't going to help you at all. Legal size paper, if you've got that, remember to check that. Again, motos and mains, we don't have any semis in this race, so those would be options if there were there. But we're just going to jump in and do a quick preview. And this is the difference. Here you get a preview on the screen. It does take a lot more computer resources, and again, if you're getting blank moto sheets or moto sheets that are missing riders, stop doing it through the reports menu and instantly go into scoring and print it there. This then gives you our moto sheets for this track, and you'll see first race of the day is 12 Cruiser. Now, I didn't print multiple classes per page. I did single sheets per page. And as you can see, the advantage to that, you've got gates listed right here for these riders as they transfer into the main. The way the gates work, it's real simple. If Braden, the first rider on the list, didn't make it, these other three guys would just get those 3 lanes. You would just move them up straight in order, top to bottom, reading left to right on the sheet. Real simple. If Jesse didn't make it, then Braden would get lane 8, Anthony would get 5, and Caden would get lane 3. It's a very simple way to do it without having to go back and score and match up with your staging prior to the mains, to get a lot of scores down. Most everyone can figure out who didn't transfer and get some lanes going, but that's the moto sheets. At this point, if you choose to print through this preview report menu, same as other reports we've previewed before, you've got the printer with a question mark, which is going to ask you which printer you would like to use out of your list. Or if you just quick print without the question mark, it's literally going to send it directly to the printer, whatever your default printer is. So make sure your default printer on your computer is set up. And this uses your computer's default printer, not your preference printer in Race Manager. So not that they wouldn't be the same, but if you're having some trouble, that's where you need to look. If you need to email these to anyone, sometimes you've got some media guys there, you've got some different folks there that would like copies. You do have other ways to email these image files. A CSV kind of breaks out all these images and it just gives you a CSV of the motos. XLS really leaves the logos on there and looks very similar to a moto sheet, but again, it's spreadsheet format. The most common would be a PDF format. So if you just click on that export, you're literally going to get the PDF. If you click on that drop down, you've got options to choose different file types. That is the printing through there. We will go back in there because I want to preview one other thing and kind of show you what the multiple classes per page look like. And this time we'll grab a scoring set and maybe grab an announcing set. But the scoring set is where you're going to really jump in there. And this is the scoring set that you'll use. You'll see there's gates on there, but doing single class per page, you're really missing the lines across the bottom with the gates. So I don't really recommend it. If you're trying to save some space on your moto board, it's probably best to just go ahead and put another moto board up so you've got a little more room to go ahead and post those single. It makes it a lot clearer for the riders. But that's posting sheets. The next video we'll jump into the moto adjuster and then kind of go through scoring.